Sheldon, what stands out most to you when you look at the Anaheim Ducks and their attack?
I see speed and skill and structure. I think you look at the two young forwards, and Terry and Zegras in particular. In their emergence here and solidifying themselves in the league, I think that's giving them increased depth and offense. We know that the veteran players they have that are very good players, but those young guys have seemed to really be coming alive. And whether it's my preparation for this game here or just watching them back home, when they're on some of the late games, and develop a lot of respect for them, and they've got some good confidence going as a team.
Do you often do that? Stay up and watch the late games?
Not so much stay up. It's more so getting home from our own games. Before falling asleep. It's hard to fall asleep after our game, so sometimes you get home and catch the tail end of them.
You're honoring Getzlaf before for reaching 1,000 points. What's been your perspective on what he's accomplished in his career?
He's just been a very consistent guy. I think he's regarded as a great competitor with tremendous skill set and poise and intelligence in how he plays. Obviously, the championship that they won here in Anaheim, he was a huge part of that years ago, and been a mainstay here now. And you look at it now that with the young guys coming for them, that he seems to be rejuvenated, and it's always nice to see players like that been around the league a long time to reach those milestones and get recognized for it.
Do you feel like you've been generating more chances and goals at the net in the last week or so?
Yeah, I think we have. I haven't looked at it in terms of the actual numbers or volume of it, but I certainly believe we've got more frequency there. That's been a goal for us. Obviously, look at Austin's 2 goals here in the last 2 games. Those are really the type of goals we've been talking about. Adding, we haven't scored a great deal of those, so that's increased while on this trip, and that's been on purpose. So we need to see that continue. Even on Simmons' goal, like he drives through. It's more on the rush, but he gets himself into the middle of the ice and he's in around the slot area there and gets a chance to get a stick on it. So those type of goals, it's been nice to see them come. Those are the type of goals that we didn't get a lot of early in the season. I think some of that was some poor luck because we were around those spaces a lot and the pucks just didn't fall. But we've been trying to increase the frequency in which those chances occur, so that would be a way in which we think that it could go for us, is that we just get more of them. And that's been the case here so far, but we're going to obviously have to establish that again here tonight.
Are those the kind of goals you think you kind of need to score in the playoffs?
I mean, like I said, I think there's lots of different ways to score goals, and that's one. And it's when time calls for that, you got to be able to do it. We have looked fairly closely at the goals that are scored in the playoffs, and I don't think they're entirely different than the regular season. There's just less of them. They're harder to come by, and there's still breakaways and 2-on-1s and odd man rushes and mistakes and things like that happen in the playoffs, just like in regular season. But sometimes you need a goal, and you got to get on the inside, and you got to earn it that way. So it's just another way to score, and we feel like we can score in different ways, and that's one that we think we can improve upon, and we've seen good results here lately.
Sean, you were talking about how teams are defending the Marner-Matthews line really well. I mean, obviously they've been a marked line for many years now. It's not the first time they've shown up. But what are you seeing that's different, and how are you trying to counter it?
I just think it's hard to say. I mean, it's maybe a question greater suited for the opposition in terms of how they approach things, but I think that those guys have had a lot of respect in the league, I think, for a long time. I think after the season they had last season, I think it just gets everyone's attention even more so. And I think even ourselves as a team, I think, have taken, or have gotten the notice of opponents more so. So I think that's part of it. Part of it too is, Austin especially has had a lot of really good chances this season that haven't fallen for him. So we tend to look at different things, such as how they're defending and such, or maybe if some of those go in, we're not really even talking about it. But I do think, those guys are defended hard, and that's why, such as the type of goals that Austin has scored in the last couple of games, you need to find ways to generate, those type of goals when the other team's not making it easier on you by making mistakes and giving up rushes and, 2-on-1 chances, things like that. And Austin hasn't had a lot of those opportunities, 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s and things like that. A lot of times, those are the type of rushes that the opposition gives you. Those are really hard to actually earn. You have to wait. You need the other team to make a mistake for those to occur most frequently. So they haven't had a ton of that, and that just tells me that the opponents are, they're dialed in when they're out there.
Leading the league in face-offs, you guys were a good face-off team last year. What do you attribute that to? Is that personnel with camp? Is that the guys getting better working with Manny after practice?
I think, Manny's got consistent routines with guys. Some of our guys that take most of our draws, they don't spend a whole lot of time in practice working at it. It's just they've got strong hands and good hand-eye coordination, and they're fast and all of those things. But I do think one area that we've really improved upon this season is our wingers' contributions on face-offs. We're a lot more aggressive with jumping in the circle and we talk about turning losses into wins, and I don't spend a whole lot of time digging into the stats of it about how many of those types of draws have resulted in what would be recorded as a win, despite the fact that maybe the puck doesn't fall cleanly to our side. But I do know that that's an area that we've improved greatly in, and it's been a main focus for us coming into camp. That obviously camp's presence, I think, certainly does make a difference. That Matthews and Tavares have consistently been very strong face-off guys. Spezza is the righty, but having another guy in camp, especially with penalty kill work and stuff like that, and a lot of D-zone starts, he's helped us maintain that level of consistency when Matthews and Tavares aren't out there.
5 o'clock's kind of a rarity for a start time. Does the sports science give the guys any advice, or just you skip morning skate and that's it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, but you look at someone like Jack Campbell, who's got his routine, likes to skate. He ended up skating at 9:30 this morning, which is, normally on a road game he would skate at 11:30, and he skates at 9:30, 2 hours ahead of, what the normal time, which is exactly what the 5 o'clock start is for 2 hours ahead of 7 o'clock. So his routine remains similar, but for the players themselves, yeah, it's just some little adjustments like that. We moved our meetings up a little bit, but we still brought the guys into the building here this morning just to get them out of the hotel and stay within our routine. But we got them back to get their lunch and stay within their routine as much as possible.
You came here for the meetings then?
We came in this morning, yeah.
But nobody on ice other than Jack?
And the scratches.
And
Yeah.
scratches.
Yeah.
Did Cassius skate?
He did not skate, no.
He did not skate.
No.
Is there clarity on what type of upper body injury? Just with his concussion history, there's people that are going to wonder.
Yeah, there's no clarity on that right now, but that has not been designated as the case. He's continued to work out. He was working out here again this morning. I think it's more that when we decided we were going to be cautious with it, we just thought let's be cautious all the way until we get home. I think that'll be we'll see where things are when we get back home.